Wow, love that music. Always get to come in, but this is pretty exciting because we happen to have, what can I say? We got the Hardcore Crappie Fishing podcast team all in one spot. Pretty hard. It's in the spring, so that means it's either raining and lightning or something's going on because these guys are all here all at once. But actually, you guys have all started a new podcast show. And so we're just going to talk to you about it. Of course, I'm the host of the Fishing Guide podcast. I'll go first, and that's a weekly show. And I know that that your show is going to be a weekly show too. So I'm pretty excited. Tell me, I guess we'll just start. We'll start with Greg. Greg, what do you think? What do you think about this, having a podcast show? Has it been much thoughts? You're kind of the one that instigated this thing.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Like you said, just been a short few days ago that you and I discussed this, and a couple of phone calls, and here we are. And,
there you go.
They're really excited to see how this will go. So.
Yeah, and Payton, what about a weekly show? Very timely, right? So we're actually going to be able to put things in perspective. So a lot of times a podcast show, I might do a podcast show and show it a month or 2 months later. We're talking about having windows of like 4 weeks. So
I think that'll be great. People will be tuning in, want to know how the bite is and what they're doing and where they're at. And they'll have their weekly fishing report too. So
all at once.
It's all going to be great.
And
3 methods.
And 3 methods. Yeah. 4 methods.
4 methods. Yeah. Well, 2 of us might be doing the same thing. Depending on how the bite is. If it's all spider rigging, I'm going that way. If it's all dock shooting, they're coming with me.
Yeah.
And Lance, this is kind of your venture into doing maybe some other kind of fishing besides that spider rigging. Is that right? Or have you bought a single pole yet?
I have some.
Does B&M need to send you some? Or
He probably got them before we did.
I have single poles. I don't know. It's just
It's hard to break the old habit.
It's hard when I'm like, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
That's right.
You know, I mean, that's just how I've been since I started learning how to fish beaver.
Yes, sir.
You know, I just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, and also speaking on Lance's behalf with his setup, the way he's got, it's hard for him to try to do the live scope fishing and stuff. You know, from the different types of trolling motors to the boat setups and all that. So he just, you know, that's another reason it's easy for him to stay on one system, don't you think?
Well, I like deep water. He likes 6 foot.
So yeah, exactly. But he's also got a Tarova. So.
Yeah, I mean, my Tarova. I mean,
it's hard to run a remote.
I've tried.
And pitch.
I've tried.
Stay with the fish.
If the fish will be still.
You only got 2 hands.
He just takes 8 rods to him. He's outnumbered us.
It's like, why take one bait to him, take him a buffet, you know, and steer at him.
Let's talk about the number of rods you can legally have on Beaver Lake.
You know, beaver, it's as many as one guy wants to feel comfortable fishing with. I mean, I fish with 8. If I have
and 4 out back.
If I have a customer, you know, that fish with me, if there's 2 of them, I put one in the back, and they'll have 4 poles back there. I kind of teach them what they need to do. Most of the time, it's usually a husband and wife, or it's a dad and a son. So the son will stay up there with me. The dad stays in the back. He's kind of experienced fisherman. He just wants to take his son fishing. Yeah. You know, and so he kind of knows what he's doing. But, I mean, it's pretty simple. But most times people like to fish back in the back because they get overwhelmed by this up here. And they kind of sit back there and stretch and just watch their son, watch their wife, you know.
Is that a double rig drop that you have in the back? Or you just single?
No, it's double. It's same tie up. You know,
so you can probably find Lance because there's a barge running around bringing minnows to his boat.
It's 24 minutes. It's 24 minutes in the lake.
I got to where I run 12 rods.
Yeah,
12.
Wow. I put my trolling rod hoe rotors in, which is behind the front seat.
Yep.
Right.
And so if I have the third person, that guy can set it to center console there.
Yeah.
And he can grab those 4 rods. And then, but I've gotten to where even if I have 2 people, I'm standing right there in between them.
Yeah.
So I just put them out. And it's amazing. In fact, Payton and I was fishing this last spring. We was up War Eagle, and both of us, we were catching fish back here as many, if not more, than we were catching off the front poles.
Yeah.
Right.
In fact, I had one of my clients said, "Why don't I sit back there and you sit up here?" Which is fine with me because I got to sit down.
Right.
So I sat up there and run these, and he ran these 4 poles.
Yeah, it covered more water that
Yeah,
way.
we did. Yeah, it's amazing how many fish we caught.
Anything that ran past us,
I mean, that's
hit
what
the side pole.
That's what you see on scope. I mean, well, that one I tell, hey Chuck, you got one maybe going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's coming back your way.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I can see him. I can pan it all the way, and I can see. I can't turn so far this way, but I can turn to the right better because my cable.
Right.
But I can see. Like, it's kind of cool because you're like, hey, you got one about to hit, right? or you can see them swim through, and I just give them heads up. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. It's just how bad they get spooked.
Yeah, and all about crappie fishing is electronics. I mean, for me, electronics is huge. Like, and I've had different units on my boat. I think you guys have all had the same brand, but I've had the pleasure or displeasure of having two different brands on my boat, so I have a lot of experience with both of them and how to tweak them. But there comes a little tweaking in there, doesn't there,
Yes,
Greg? Except for him, because you set his up and he hasn't changed. And then I went out with Lance, and I'm like, Lance, let's just change this a little bit and stuff. And we went to the blue screen and stuff, and his eyes started like going in a certain. One was going this way, and one was going this. He like rat. I don't know about this.
So put it back.
We put it all back the way it is.
Put it back. Don't touch it.
But electronics plays a huge part in what you're doing, even if you're spider rigging. We know because he just said, Lance just said about that.
Yeah, sometimes it gets challenging. I mean, I was in the boat with Payton the other day, and he was just doing a couple of things, and haven't seen much of that yet. So I'm having to research on that a little bit to see what we can do to eliminate that.
Is he getting that
situation.
ghost tree echo
No,
coming
wasn't a ghost tree. He's getting he's got 3 lines. It almost looks like 3 little faint cables running from
Then
one
a sway.
corner to the other, and then every so often it starts a rocking chair mode. I mean, it just starts swaying.
What have you done to that?
I don't know. I ain't got time for it though.
The only thing I can tell on the swaying part is they recommend us to calibrate the compass,
Right.
which I could see where that could be a little bit of issue, but there again, he's never calibrated his ever, so.
Right.
Because if you calibrated it, it'd have that little ring up in the top corner.
Yeah.
Right.
It's supposed to show which direction your live scope's shining, which sometimes it's accurate. So it's handy for other situations. So got to do a little bit of video on that next time we're out, and send them in to Garmin and see what I can come up with. Otherwise, I'm going to tell them I need a new transducer.
That's what I was about to say. It sounds like maybe transducer.
Yeah.
It's like, that Saturn ring thing that happens?
Do what now?
Like that Saturn ring that happens?
Yeah, that's a transducer
I wonder if
issue.
that's kind of the start of that.
I don't know.
Yeah. I had one the other day. A guy was having troubles of his going off. That was a transducer.
Yeah, and
Might have to call Joey.
yeah, there you go. See what he has
Joey
to say
Cook
about
and ask
that.
him about it.
Yeah, the transducer doctor. So if you ever whack your cable in half or tear it off,
He
Joey
can
Cook can
repair
help you out. There's our plug for Joey. Joey, make sure you watch our show and subscribe along with everyone else. We'll just throw it out there. This is going to be good. It's good just Northwest Arkansas, but the whole show is built off the concept of helping people catch fish. You're going to hear us say that over and over again, but that's the whole thing. That's the reason why you guys do seminars. I do seminars. Everyone here does seminars, and I think that's part of the reason why the 4 of us are here is because we basically have companies that believe in us and believe in and support us, and I have to say, Jack Wells sent a note to me and said, you four are rocking it up in the Northwest.
Yeah.
And so
that's great to hear.
that was on the red hot phone, you know.
Yeah.
Chuck, yeah.
Straight to him.
Chuck, yeah. We're giving them a shout out because all of us are B&M pro staffers or use B&M rods. And so, you know, and of course, Lance puts his through punishment every single day he goes out.
Yeah.
And I mean, just,
that's
a lot of, I mean, gar,
catfish.
Yeah.
everything.
Lance's bow's longer than his bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are.
Might be a secret to it. He's low profile.
That's right.
Low profile. Yeah, you have a low
Less
profile
buoyancy.
bow.
I'm afraid.
That's why we
that-
can't fish 6 feet. We push them out of the way.
I'm afraid he's going to get pulled over one of these days because rods are sticking out past
Needs
the
a red
motor,
flag.
and then the red flag.
A little orange flag on the back.
A little orange flag. we can get some
Put that orange flag on that 250.
hardcore crappie fishing. We'll just get some banners for your thing, like for the rod tips. So when they go down, the little flag pops
They
up.
can switch to 18 footers just for it.
Yeah.
Especially.
I have some 18
You
footers.
use those in the summertime, right?
I have not pulled them out yet. I stayed pretty consistent, just slow trolling minnows all year last year.
Oh,
I didn't. I didn't ever power troll with them.
Because I
last
thought
year.
you usually use them on your 1 ounce rigs.
No, I go the PSTs, the one step up from BGJPs.
I got you.
And
I was just thinking they were 18s, 16.
I'm wanting to try that power troll and just see what it works on this lake.
You might have to try that black diamond for that because it's light too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just think 8 black diamonds.
I don't know if I get them. I
Man.
don't know if B&M would send me that many. It's a lot of live
I don't.
I think that will ring the red phone. Lance wants 8.
I guess you can ask
That would
question
be-
next week.
That would be a no.
I want to be there in person when he asks it.
Yeah.
Be next week.
Next week when you're up there.
I need 8 of them.
Yeah.
Him ask that.
Exactly, because this show is actually going to come up on Monday. It's actually you're going to see us all on the Fishing Guide podcast, but we'll also be on the Hardcore Crappie Fishing very first show, and so that's what this is. And so once again, I'm going to tell you to subscribe, tell your friends, and this is going to be the deal going on here, and we're going to get a lot of insight. I know some of the stuff. I look forward to touching is sonar techniques, which, you know, we're kind of touching base in the thing, but we'll really break down spider rigging. When spider rigging gets hot and everyone's catching them spider rigging, we're really going to dive into that. And then if we talk about electronics, we start talking about batteries, and I know 3 of us have actually have Miller Tech batteries in our boat. What do you have?
Just a little bit of everything.
Not yet.
He has a Walmart.
I got 2 Walmart.
He has
I
an
tell you.
O'Reilly.
One that he found at the ramp at 412.
We're gonna have to change that.
He don't go fast enough. Need a trolling motor.
I do have one. I got one that's over $200. I got that.
You do have the lightest boat, though. Let's throw that out there. You have the lightest boat of everyone. I think my boat's heavier than yours.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
And then you two, you're
those are heavy.
vessels. They're not really boats. They're really more like vessels or ships.
I call Greg's the battleship. And
Yeah,
it
battleship.
basically looks like a battleship at the water. I'm
Well,
like, God, that
Payton
boat's
and I's
big.
both are pretty much the same
Yeah.
hull, but Payton has just an FS series,
Right.
and mine's an FS Magnum. So Payton's is a 96-inch beam.
Right.
Mine's 102.
Wow.
It's
and
just
the links are the same, and then the walls on his, like he's only got like 2 inches above the gunnels,
Gunnel?
about 3 inches above the deck, if I remember.
Yeah.
And mine's about 5 inches, so mine's deeper and wider.
it's a hike through
It's
y'all's
a little
live
bit.
world.
It's actually a little bit.
I need a big boat. I'm a big boy.
Well, the thing
It's
is
a
when
hike.
we
Oh,
bought
my
these,
God.
we didn't. I
Got them from Mississippi.
We did not realize the difference in the two boats.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, moving around in his boat is totally different than moving around in mine. It's just the stability of them and stuff.
Yeah.
Not running it down. It's a good boat, but because when we went to look at these, he jumped all over that one. And of course, when I seen the price, I was like, that's the one I'd rather have. You know. And then here's the Magnum, but I like the Magnum because of the width and the color. That was my thing. I am not ever buying a little white boat.
Yeah,
right. And then he was wanting white and blue, and so it worked out that I wound up with a Magnum.
These are
and I don't regret it.
These are big, and so all of us being guide, I have the Vexus. It's
Our
it's
hull's
more
actually the same as your hull.
Yeah,
Pretty
close. Pretty close. They did a little different on the Vexus. They got some foam filled underneath all the stuff, and they, as we know, because when we installed the electronics, there was a lot of ugly words said. And if you do some of your electronic things underneath the Vexus hull,
I never
make sure your pastor is not anywhere near you, because it gets ugly real quick.
Did not know it was going to take 2 days.
90-degree turn inside a tube. It's ugly.
Run a transducer, and you got to hit the hole. And the cable hits here, and the hole's up here.
Yeah,
solid.
That was not pretty. Of course, I'm the only one that I think that really kind of steps out, and I do some multi-species fishing. So even though I'm in this crowd, I if you're looking for a guide trip for the bass, that's
bass
track me down on that deal. But you guide for crappie year round, and crappie year round. Yes. So that's the reason why the input's real good. And actually, when you're out catching roamers, literally I can go from catching roamers with crappie and literally just reach down, grab a different rod, and actually. And as you were spying my baits the other day, Payton, you were like, well, if you're using that for stripers, you could just be using that for early time crappie fishing.
Yeah, the 4 and 5 inch baits are catching them with. So
yeah,
some of the bigger ones. So
and what are you using for bait when you're doing that?
Bobby Garland slab hunter minnows are my go-to.
Okay.
And the 3-inch slab slayer.
3-inch.
Okay.
I'm using big stuff.
Yeah, is that what you're using?
Yes. Yeah.
I know what you're using. Do you use bigger minnows then?
So once in a while.
No,
man, I stay small.
He's like, I want the smallest ones you got.
If it goes over 2 inches, I don't want it.
You and those gold hooks are just like I know what to say.
Yeah, I just
opposite ends of the spectrum.
Exactly.
Like, what do you catch them? I'm like, what? He's like, I can't get them. That's nothing big.
Yeah.
All they want is something 3 to 4 inches over here.
I mean, back when 2020 happened and we couldn't find minnows, like they were raking the ponds for them, and you're getting these little, I call them anorexic minnows, where the mouth is so small you can't. That's when I learned. I was like, man, they like these small minnows.
Wow.
It's like, so I don't go any bigger than 2 inches. I don't want no bass minnow, and I mean, if I grab one and I can hold it, the whole thing in my palm of my hand, I'm gonna throw that one out. I don't want that one.
So you're enjoying crappie fishing now more too.
I love crappie fishing.
So
some of that's opened up because when I changed my electronics, my whole world changed. I can tell you the whole view changed of how I was seeing them. Mm-hmm. And also maybe my eyes or something, but just the fact going to that blue screen and high sunlight is really like that's been the thing, and I'm still scoping them way out far compared, I think, to you guys that are doing like 30 foot.
Yeah.
Like I'm at 80 and 60.
You're throwing that far
because,
out.
Yeah.
What he's doing with the blue.
So
that's because my boat doesn't stop. You guys got paddles.
Right.
And so, and the only paddle he has in it is in case his engine don't work.
I want to know how far you are into crappie. So if you're crappie fishing, you see a school of stripers, which way you go? You going left for striper, or you going right for the crappie school?
Depends if our freezer, how much fish we have in our freezer. And if we need more fish in the freezer, I'm going crappie fishing.
Yeah.
I love that 18-foot rod. Yeah. I can just tell you, I went from that 16 to the 18, and I got to 16 first, and I did that, and I was like, yeah, I like this better. And then when I went to the 18, I just said, look, it feels almost the same weight. I think just under 10 ounces, I think is what that rod weighs.
I think 16's right at 9, and the other one's just a little heavier.
And so, and that's really like opened it up. And some of the techniques are the same because they're open water. It's just that one of them is just not moving like the other one. Right. The other one is ADD. A striper's ADD. It's like, oh, I got him. And it's like, come on, dude. Just like, give me a second just to get over there. But that the reason why I've gone to that distance is just because I don't have that ability to stop. Just my boat drifts, and even going into the wind, you know, because I'm moving it. I think I'm moving at a pretty good clip, like 3 on my trolling motor. So I'm moving a pretty good clip because I see him out there, and then I get up there, and then I just know how far I'm going to stop before I do the thing, and you know, just. You know, that's
so you thinking about paddles yet, or trolling motors on the back?
Hey, what I can tell you is last night when I was surfing the internet, Payton Jeffries has
4.
2. Yeah, he has 4.
2 on each side.
2 on the back each side.
Trolling motors?
But
Trolling
his
motors.
is a little hand. I mean, he didn't take the.
He didn't.
He just took
do
them
the
off.
thing.
His heads off and wired them in.
So he's
got 2 on. That's why.
So if
2
you
on
hit
each
that, now it's
side.
going to throw you out of the boat. If it's,
Yeah.
you got her
That's-
cranked up.
That's what he said, but he said he has not thrown his dad out yet. He said he very rarely uses all 4. But the applications to, and I think this is the deal, is the crappie world introduced crappie brakes. Like, I don't know how many years ago they did that.
Been
4 or
about 3
5
years now, I'd say.
Yeah, but I bet some people 5 years ago, 4
that
years
may
ago,
be.
people.
Tony Stewart had him on. Guy up there in Mississippi. He had 2 troll motors on the back of his boat.
So
I'm trying to remember the first person I
That's
saw.
the first.
but yeah, like
That's the first
like,
guy I saw. Have.
3 years ago it got popular, and then it got popular, and then in the crappie world, and I wrote an article real early on, like maybe 2 years ago. I wrote an article said crappie brakes, this is the deal, and if the bass people ever figure this out, every single one of them will have it on. And
now they do.
And-
Scott Martin's got
and now,
them,
it's funny because now all of a sudden all the writers and the commentaries and people with podcast shows are acting like they had discovered these things called crappie brakes or bass brakes. I was like,
this fishing industry's getting worse than the telemarketers. I mean, every time you turn around, there's another $1,000. You know, there's another $1,000. You know,
I gotta have that.
exactly.
Or you see somebody with you that's able to slow down or something. That's where it's kind of getting to me. And I just want to use I want my paddles left too. I want to be able to use both of them.
Yeah, Sea Light's working on a deal for
That'd
that.
be good.
And it's a little ways out, but I visited with him the other day, and he's having a paddle built that will work above
a bracket or a paddle, a different paddle.
A paddle. It's got to be a shorter paddle
to
run your paddles versus your tow motor. So if you got your tow motor attached to your power pole, your paddle, like now, our paddles will go down past the pole. That's why we can't use them. Mm-hmm. And it also sets in that same bracket to swing it around, so you can't have both. And so he's coming up with a paddle that will attach to the trolling motor, and it'll be just above the
nice
motor. So
that's the hot item right now. Then is
the power brakes.
Yep, the brakes.
Yeah.
Crappie brakes, power
crappie,
brakes,
bass brakes.
Yeah, 24. That's
Just
the hot.
brakes.
That's the hot thing everybody's wanting.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I think that and also the release of some forward-facing sonar lures, specific lures, and I think someone will maybe figure out how to use a hard bait like a 3-inch body, but in the end, it seems like crappie are pretty doggone smart.
They are.
Like, I mean, when it comes to a hard bait, now they ain't very smart when a crankbait goes by them during those summer months. But they seem to, like, you catch them on a jerk bait every once in a while, but you don't go out and plan to catch them on a jerk bait. You
It's like an
go out. Yeah, you go out and you're more targeting, and I don't. Maybe
They're
someone
picky
knows
about
why.
movement. certain movements.
Movement. Yeah.
You know, I've noticed, and maybe it's just me, but I can go fish with Lance. Me and him go spider rigging all day. I get home, I'm still pretty good shape. I chase them jokers all day on live scope, and I get home. I tell you, I'm beat. It's like it's the toughest job in the industry.
Why does my shoulder hurt so bad?
Exactly. I
Then
mean,
you're
it's
like, oh yeah.
Man, I didn't know my back was hurting that bad. Because you're so tensed up. Because I mean, you're loaded and ready to go the whole time. I mean, it's just like driving on ice. You're just sitting there tensed up, ready for that next one.
You can put your scope out farther, like me, and you
Yeah,
can put your
you're
rod
still
down.
standing.
Yeah, I stand the whole time.
Yeah,
I can't
do
fish
that.
sitting down,
Yeah.
dude. That kills me.
I used to not either, but to chase the roamers, I've got to sit down and
Yeah,
focus.
I'm the same way. When I'm chasing roamers, I like sitting down.
I guess if you see someone looks like a stork that's standing
I'll
on
bring a
one leg,
stool
that's
when I
me.
fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to bring a stool. You have to be
I'll
standing.
just bring me a stool when I fish with him.
You just sit on the deck, I guess, and you can throw it over top. It ain't very big.
I'll find me a 20-footer so I can get out there
There
before
you
you
go.
do.
You
I
tell you what.
He has a 20-footer. He has a 20-footer. You got that telescopic pole.
Mighty
Oh yeah,
stick.
that's 20.
Yeah.
I got the mighty. It's 24.
Is it 24? You got
Wow.
25?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, the new one,
25. I
think
got
the
25.
The new
Yeah.
one goes out to 27, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's carbon graphite fiber.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah, I
waiting
don't
on.
have one.
So
of
I have the
those
25.
yet.
I have the 20. I have the 25.
That's what I'm
as
waiting
well.
on. That's they're supposed to be sending me a
The
couple.
reason why those are better is because of the water and them sticking together, so they don't
Right.
stick like together. And so I know the old pole we actually used.
Well, one of the
used
reasons
in
I'm
your
wanting to
boat.
try one of them is I think with customers, the biggest thing with customers is learning.
How to cast pitch them.
Number one, half of them don't even know how to throw a reel, regardless of what kind you got on. But when it comes to pitching out on one, it's just really hard. They just don't have that hand and eye coordination just because they haven't done it. And
Right.
it's so hard to get them to respond quick enough as far as getting the slack out, start lifting it or whatever. You say lift and they lift a rod. Well, you just moved it, 16-foot rod, you just moved it from here to here, you know. And so what I'm thinking to get one of those carbon. And the biggest thing will be the amount of line because
Tied on the end.
the line's tied on the end. So
Right,
it's a
yep.
fixed line. But I mean, if we can average probably 15 foot of line, you can lift it up to what we need. And, you know, if I need to shorten it, but that way, if I see a fish at 30 foot and they got that extended out to 20 feet, put it out there in front of there and I can push the
Steer it
bait
to 'em.
and then just tell them to lift up or down or right and left. And I think we can get them
Yeah.
to where
I think
they're
that's
on a.
what a lot of guys have went to.
And-
They just hold the rod and they operate the
Steer
troller
'em.
to the fish.
Steer it.
And keep it at a certain speed, and the fish come up and hit it, and they just got to pull it in.
They do
It's-
that in Mississippi because I was down there and they were like, you probably can't cast because you're an outdoor rider. And I said, well, no, I'm on the opposite end of that deal. I said, and so I was pitching with that long rod and I was like, I'd much rather do that. But it's called I believe it's called the ambush rod.
Ambush.
Yep. So you can check that out.
But then also on the
BNM's
same
website.
token, even if somebody's experienced or can adapt to that type of fishing, then the next problem we get into is the accuracy of getting the bait where you need it.
That's right.
Because that's only so wide out there, you know. And
7 foot at 20 foot.
exactly.
You want me to get my sheet out?
I've
My
got
sheet's
one.
right here.
I've got one.
Somewhere. Where's my sheet?
I've got one on the phone.
You have
Need
one
it.
on. You have the app
Do
on
you
the
need it?
phone. No, I
No.
got it. You're right. 7.
I've got it.
We're not
for-
opposed to bringing our
have
phones out.
Our fact check.
I have it for all three: Active
I know.
Target, Panoptics, and the Mega Live.
There you go.
I'm not going
Mega-
to argue with him about distance. And he'll pull that out on me.
Mega Live, and
It's 20 degree
Garmin are on
cone.
the same degree,
Yeah, 20 degree cone.
and then Active Target is narrower,
But
because
not-
it's 18 degree.
But not everything is Little Debbie's. Sometimes Little Debbie's are made by other companies, and they don't taste as good as the original Little Debbie. So that's all I got to say about sonar. So
'Cause
if-
you've used them all.
I've used them all. I've been in the boat with all of them, and I've used them for everything from crappie fishing to bass fishing. Man, that takes us up to the end of the show. What can I say? It was great having all the hardcore crappie fishing guys in, the elites of the elites, Beaver Lake fishing guides, all 4 of them. I guess I'm including myself, but so anyway, Tackle Time sponsored by PICO Lures. PICO Lures has a complete line of hard and soft baits. You can check them out there. They got lures that'll catch crappie, and they got lures to catch everything else. If you're a multi-species fisherman like myself, you can check them out there at picolures.com. Hey, if they want to get your contact information, tell them, Lance.
Well, you can reach me at Facebook at Lance Hughey, or you message me there, or you can go to my phone, call me 479-236-4105.
There you go, Payton.
You can reach me at Payton Usrey Fishing on Facebook, or call me at 479-387-6153.
Greg's Guide Service, or 479-601-1683.
You can check me out at Brad Wiegmann at Facebook, and you can contact me. All you have to do is just look it up. I have a website, too, you can check out that is an award-winning website. So you can go there and find all kinds of different information. Like I always like to end the show. Make sure you keep your hook sharp, lures in the water.